His name is Edson Alvarez Velasquez. He is the Mexican national team captain. And guess what? Manchester United is discussing him. Meanwhile, Sir Jim Ratcliffe has dropped an interesting one, speaking about how Man United has got more accountants trying to manage the finances to be sure they can get every penny available to spend in the summer. And he goes on to confirm the story about Jean-Clair Todibo. Welcome to the United Hot Spot. My name is Webb. It's a busy morning. This for Manchester United. Like, share, and subscribe. And let me just put this right for you. There you go. Let's get proper into this talk. My name is Webb. Now, listen, there is a new Manchester United target. He's called Edson Alvarez. He is a 26-year-old midfielder who can also play as a center back. He's a Mexican and he's the captain of the Mexican national football team, and that shows you he's quite a character. And he plays in the Premier League. Many of you may not be, have paid attention to Alvarez. He's a West Ham midfielder, joined West Ham from Ajax in 2023, has only played there for just one season, but boy, isn't he such a baller. He's a beast, if you ask me. He's a tackler, he's a hard tackler, he's a whole different, mold. He's a different player, very, very, very energetic, aggressive player, and he's a leader, most importantly. For me, when I see Man United linked to a player who has got leadership traits in them, I'm happy about that. Now, he's 26. That's a year older than what we know Ineos would prefer. But I don't think just 1 year older is wrong. It's not. They did not say that they will only sign players of 25 and younger. They say they will focus mostly on 25 and younger. But it doesn't mean if there is a good player just a year older than that who has got some more experience to bring in the team, it doesn't. He doesn't fit in. Now, Alvarez has signed a 5-year contract with West Ham when he joined from Ajax, and that means he has got a long contract with them. They bought him for about 38 million US dollars. That's just over 30 million pounds, meaning he was that's a fairly big figure for a team like West Ham United. But his value now is believed to be more than double that, just over double that, because he has got a long contract, and indeed he is a good footballer, and he has proved to be an interesting one. That's why he has attracted a team like Manchester United. So what's of course happening now is Man United perhaps will know that they have got, like Sir Jim Ratcliffe has said in an interview, in an exclusive somewhere, that they have got more accountants now at Old Trafford than people in football, to try to ensure that they can save every penny they can to focus it on the football. The football matters, because they have got to spend a lot of money. He clearly knows that. Now, I think Alvarez is a good footballer without a shadow of a doubt. He played for Ajax, and again, we're going back now to guys who played under Erik ten Hag. Now, there are advantages to that, but also people can say, are we just going to sign players who played under Erik ten Hag before? Probably that's a sign of the trust they have got in Erik ten Hag. And if it's Erik ten Hag who's going to be steering the ship, why not give him players he has worked with? Better the devil you know than the devil you don't, because we've seen that players like Lisandro Martinez have performed well under him. Players like Andre Onana improving, and perhaps one of our best and most improved players from last season. So I think for me, I cannot go and play that card. If he's good enough, it doesn't matter whether he played with Erik ten Hag before or not. It's okay. If he's good enough, bring him in. So I think for me, Alvarez is okay for him to be on the list of midfielders United is looking at. And the price, about, I think I see him about 50 million pounds or 60 or thereabout. I think that's decent. It's affordable for the position. If we are giving up on Joao Neves, who is overly expensive, that's more than half the value that Benfica rate Joao Neves at. So I think for me, that would be another good option. But also the fact that he has been tested in the Premier League for just one season, but showing that he can be a good footballer. Captaining the Mexican national team is no mean feat. For me, I see a good player in him. So I think that's a name, a signing I can second as well for me. Now, you can give me your take on that. Again, that's another one being added to the list. I told you, Ineos are drafting long lists of players to come in and give options to the manager. Now, there is this new one that has come from Sir Jim Ratcliffe. He has spoken about, he has had an interview and spoken about so many things. And one of the things he has spoken about, of course, was confirming that Jean-Clair Todibo, they were told by UEFA that United that they can sell him, but not to Manchester United. And that he says that's not fair on the player. I don't see what that achieves. That's what he told Bloomberg. He did an exclusive with Bloomberg. Honestly, you cannot understand what that achieves, but of course, I mean, yeah, it's UEFA, they make the rules. But this is to confirm the interest that we've been talking about for a long time, that Man United has really been interested in signing Jean-Clair Todibo. I think they were almost certain he would be the first signing they bring in until UEFA came out and dropped this. So that's a sad bit there, but I think shows you also that the player wanted to join Manchester United, because if Sir Jim Ratcliffe is saying that it's unfair on the player, that's confirmation that indeed the player, like from his interactions with him, wanted so much to join Manchester United. So that's where we are now. Sir Jim also talks about how, of course, there is a lot of things to improve about Manchester United. I mean, he gave an interesting, I think, calculation of certain facts about Manchester United and Real Madrid, and the spend, how much money these two teams have spent over the years, and it's interesting. I want to get it for you. He's talking about how Manchester United's net spend over the last post Sir Alex Ferguson is so much, nearly 1.1 billion pounds. Yet Real Madrid have spent about 200 million. Can you imagine? Yet Real Madrid have over 6 or 7 players who are worth 100 million. United has none. So that's an interesting thing that I think for me we need to note. That's something said by Sir Jim Ratcliffe. I want to get it for you and just quote him for you verbatim. It's an interesting thing. He said, Man United's net spend since the departure of Sir Alex Ferguson and David Gill is 1.1 billion pounds. Real Madrid are at 200 million pounds. By the way, that's insane. If you think about how Man United will sign Kylian Mbappe for crazy amounts of money, or some player, you might think they spend so much money crazily, but Perez just does his business right. That's why I keep saying, how is it that Real Madrid have all these nearly Galacticos, but they are somehow not guilty of the financial fair play rules? Listen, it's just how you do the math, how you play your cards. Real Madrid are at 200 million pounds. Man United are 1.1 million pounds in net spend. Can you imagine? Can you imagine? Today, they have 6 or 7 players valued at over 100 million euros. United have none, and they made the new Bernabeu. Can you imagine? What? No wonder Fiorentino Perez is kept having to come back and be president of Real Madrid. Mean that they can have Kylian Mbappe and Vinicius Junior and all these players they have, but they've got a net spend of 200 million pounds post Sir Alex Ferguson. Yet Man United has got 1.1 billion pounds. Yet they have, if you look at the squad of Real Madrid, how many of their players can be valued at over 100 million euros? And they are still winning the Champions League. They built the new Bernabeu. That's I mean, insane management. If you think about it, that's insane management. I love the homework that Sir Jim Ratcliffe is doing. I think he like you say, there is room for improvement everywhere at Man United, and we will improve everything. We want to challenge for the Premier League and Champions League every year. We want to be where Real Madrid are today, but it will take time. This is Sir Jim again, reassuring us. So that's a bit of a wrap up of the morning update concerning Manchester United. There's a lot happening, but I think the biggest one when it comes to transfer talk is Alvarez, Edson Alvarez, who is now the option, another option on the list that has Joao Neves. It has Fofana, Yusuf Fofana. It had Andre Onana on it. Now this guy is, it seems, according to the report that came out, the United are showing a serious interest. A serious interest. This was confirmed and dropped by Fabrizio. It's a serious interest in Edson Alvarez. So my thinking is probably up somewhere in the pecking order. I get a feeling, I'm getting a sense that Man United has given up on Joao Neves because of how he's overpriced. But also we know how guests, if you want to overprice their players. I think for me, they could have given up. Now, Michael Olise is another one. Man United seem to have given up on Michael Olise from the way it looks. I think Newcastle, Chelsea also, I mean, several clubs now, other clubs are beginning to show interest in Michael Olise, and Manchester United might be dropping out of the race. For me, that I think that would be good riddance for me. I think, honestly, I've never been so excited by Michael Olise, because apparently Crystal Palace have offered him a new deal, higher salary, and a new release clause for 2025. And despite this, Chelsea are still confident to they push agree on personal terms with him. So you can imagine, Crystal Palace are doing everything to fail every club trying to get him. So they're just eagerly waiting to just rip off someone. So I think they feel like even 60 million pounds, that was the new buyout clause, was not enough for him. Honestly, for me, that would be good riddance for Manchester United when it comes to Michael Olise. We would rather trust Ahmad and get other few cheaper options around. But for Olise, I've never been moved by this signing of Michael Olise. Anyway, that's it. Like, share, and subscribe, and let me catch you later, fam.